Hello everyone, my name is Austin Glidden and I am an academic advisor in the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering. And today I'm here to share some information with you about our school, including a description of what biomedical engineering is and what we do in the Weldon School here at Purdue, describe the highlighted research areas in the Weldon School, and explain the plan of study and what to expect with our curriculum. I'll also allow our students to offer insight into the student experience and provide information for extracurricular BME opportunities and discuss BME career information. And finally, I'll conclude with information for those who are wanting to learn more about the Weldon School. So what is biomedical engineering? Biomedical engineers solve novel life science and healthcare problems and make a global impact by improving the quality of healthcare. Biomedical engineering, or BME as it is called, is the intersection of engineering and healthcare. So while you can major in many engineering disciplines and still work as a biomedical engineer, our program offers a unique curriculum. We focus on solving medical problems with human biological systems, and our learning experiences prepare students for the unique demands of a career in biomedical engineering. So whether you plan to go to graduate school or medical school, or you want to start a career as an engineer in the biomedical device industry or elsewhere, you can prepare in the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering. Now, the Weldon School's undergraduate program is intentionally very hands-on. Each semester through senior design, our students take lab courses that are thematically linked to concurrent lecture classes. Then upper-level technical selectives, as well as our tailored depth areas, are used to specialize you in your interest area within BME. That said, the faculty at the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering that you would be working with directly specialize in 4 key areas: engineered biomechanics and biomaterials, bioelectricity and instrumentation, bioimaging, and computational biomedicine. The first depth area I would like to address is engineered biomechanics and biomaterials, which focuses on natural and synthetic materials and how they interact in the human body. Students can develop novel polymers and biomaterials for enhanced drug delivery. They can even find new ways to replace, repair, and regenerate tissues lost or damaged from injury and disease. One of our faculty members, Dr. Diva Chan, can tell us a little bit more about biomechanics and biomaterials and how that works in BME.
Hi, I'm Dr. Diva Chan, and I'm an assistant professor in biomedical engineering. Biomechanics and biomaterials are really 2 different areas of study that look at how the mechanics of biology, so biological systems, interacts in terms of health and disease. And in terms of the biomaterials, we're looking at either naturally derived or even human-made materials and how they interact with biology. The way that biomechanics and biomaterials works in biomedical engineering is that we really try to provide these engineering first principles in mechanical engineering and material science, but also to put it into this context that allows BME students to understand how it affects the development of biomedical devices, the development of new biomaterials, or studying their interaction with people, but to bring in that interdisciplinary nature to it beyond just studying these alone in mechanical engineering or in material science. We find that a lot of students that come into biomechanics and biomaterials really benefit from a strong understanding of mathematics and physics, as well as chemistry and biology. It really requires the whole gamut. And when they get to the biomechanics and biomaterials track, they get a lot of background from the Introduction to Biomechanics course, but then they can delve into the biofluids as well as more experimental methods in biomechanics as well. And when it comes to the biomaterials side, they get a lot when it comes to studying biomolecules at a sophomore level, but then adding on to that a lot of junior and senior level courses that lead into things like tissue engineering and a lot of the technical electives that they can take. Biomechanics and biomaterials really prepare students to go into things like medical devices. You have to understand how it interacts with the body. You have to understand how the body's forces and stresses inside the body might change as a result of that implant. Even in understanding something like drug delivery or biologics, it's important to know how that interacts with the body in terms of a lot of the biomaterial interactions, but even in terms of the biomechanics, how might it change the properties of tissues, and how might these properties of tissues then can change the way that our bodies function. So there's a lot of different ways that they can apply a lot of these basic foundational knowledge and concepts into various aspects of industry.
Some students are interested in the subcategory of this depth area, neuroengineering. If you're one of those students, Dr. Ed Bartlett can tell us more about this area of study.
Hi, my name is Ed Bartlett. I'm a professor of biomedical engineering and biological sciences here at Purdue. I work in neuroengineering, which is the application of engineering principles to the study of the brain and its operation in normal conditions and pathological conditions. The brain controls everything and makes us who we are. Yes, the heart's important, the liver's important, fine. But when we think about what gives us our personalities and makes us ourselves, it's the brain. When we think about what is controlling our movements, what's controlling our thoughts, it's the brain. When that goes wrong, then we have a lot of problems, and that's where in modern society, we have things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, schizophrenia. And so for that, we need a way to both address when the brain is right and understand its operation, and when the brain is going wrong and understand how to fix that. And one of the ways that we do that is by employing neurotechnology and neuroengineering. Neurotechnology is at the forefront of any kind of technology in biology for development. It's won a few of the last Nobel Prizes, and one of the things, for example, optogenetics, which is a technique employed by multiple people in the biomedical engineering department, is a way in which light can control neurons and can control specific populations of neurons in the brain in order to dictate behavior and in order to change activity in a way that we can understand normal neural function. The major burden of the modern world is our mental health and our cognitive states. With an aging population, we have all sorts of age-related neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's, such as Parkinson's, and just cerebrovascular dementia generally. And then in terms of being buffeted by chemicals throughout our world, we're just now understanding the interaction of the environment with the modifications that it makes to the brain. And so furthering the understanding and having devices, for example, wearables that would be able to monitor brain activity, neurostimulators that are able to ameliorate symptoms of, say, Parkinson's, discovering ways to reduce or slow the progression of age-related cognitive decline in middle-aged people before we reach the point of symptomatic disorders. So, I mean, the impact is enormous.
Bioelectricity and instrumentation addresses all aspects of instrumentation design and application. You will learn about engineering new medical devices and optimizing existing devices. You'll learn the engineering science required for testing and evaluating human physiology. And you could also work developing cost-saving diagnostic tools for use in developing countries or remote areas. Dr. Hugh Lee can tell us more about this area of research.
Hi, my name is Hugh Lee. I'm an associate professor of biomedical engineering. I'm also the director of Center for Implantable Devices at Purdue University. Broadly speaking, bioinstrumentation refers to the development of tools that can help better diagnose and treat different kinds of clinical problems. This is what you typically think about when you think about medical devices. And in bioinstrumentation area, we were trying to prepare our students with fundamental understanding of the body as well as how to create these devices so that we can prepare them for a successful career in medical device industry. So there's a plethora of options for our students. Many of our students are being prepared to go into the medical device manufacturing industry. These include companies like Medtronic, Boston Scientific, Abbott, and others. Many of our students actually have been recruited to go to big tech companies like Apple and Google and Amazon with their interest in healthcare diagnostic and wearable devices. And many of our students, of course, go into grad school and medical school. And some of our students have ended up in patent law or even consulting. So our students learn that there is a critical need to understand how the body responds, and we will also teach them about how the physics of different transducers actually work in acquiring those kind of signals. So they will learn how to design, fabricate, and test some of these devices, and they will also learn how to use some of these advanced analytical tools like AI and machine learning to analyze these complex signals. The implantable devices that I teach, the course is based on very popular Netflix sci-fi Black Bear, where we talk about a lot of different kinds of implantable devices of the future, what's possible now, and what's potentially possible in the future. It's a very interesting course that you can take in the senior year of your academic career at Purdue BME.
And then there's bioimaging. This depth area focuses on developing advanced imaging for better ways to see into the human body. You might build a super resolution nanoscope that gives a more detailed view of the brain and helps doctors see the progression of diseases like Alzheimer's. You'll be introduced to imaging tools including ultrasound, advanced CT, and functional MRI, and learn how improvements can help with diagnosis, characterization, and treatment of diseases. Now that we've learned a little bit about bioimaging, let's hear from Dr. Craig Gorgen, who will further develop this depth area.
My name is Craig Gorgen. I'm the Leslie A. Geddes Professor of Biomedical Engineering here in the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering at Purdue University. Biomedical imaging is a fantastic research area for our program. We have expertise in MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, optical imaging, super resolution microscopy, and ultrasound. We have coursework, research training, and other programs to expose our students to the clinical needs as well as the research efforts in this area. Our bioimaging students have direct impact on patients. They're working on technology that has direct clinical applications, helping patients all the way from pediatrics to adults develop ways that better understand disease progression and predict who needs treatment at which different points of their disease process. So my research group primarily focuses on cardiovascular disease, and it's been fantastic to work with cardiologists, radiologists, and surgeons through the IU School of Medicine and other academic medical centers to help patients that are undertreated or underserved currently, whether it's pediatric patients with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, aneurysm patients, patients with heart attacks, or those around the world from a global health perspective, thinking about ways to improve patient care in low resource settings. Our bioimaging students have a plethora of career opportunities afterwards. They can go into industry working for medical imaging companies. They can go to graduate school to increase their training into the research side of things, or they can go on to medical school or other graduate degrees to think about other career options. Our research is very important to us because we can see the impact we have on the patients that we're treating. And with our clinical colleagues, we know that the technology work and the animal work that we're doing in the lab is going to help somebody in the very near future.
And finally, we have computational biomedicine. Researchers in this area work with mathematical modeling, systems analysis, and engineering computational tools. You might study the role that proteins play in the growth and development of animals, or you might make a discovery that helps researchers develop treatments to regrow tissues and organs in human patients. Your work could also ensure that medical treatments in hospitals are provided in an efficient manner. Dr. Elsha Pinar will take us down the road to learn more about computational biomedicine.
Hi, my name is Elsha Pinar. I'm an assistant professor in biomedical engineering. I'm also the co-chair of the computational biomedicine research area. And the computational biomedicine depth area is an area that will give you the skills and the knowledge necessary to use computational and mathematical tools and techniques to make sense of and optimize biological systems. In this depth area, the fundamental courses that we'll have you take, one of them is more of a bottom-up model where you look at computational models that represent the physiology of the human body. So you're trying to build virtual representations of real systems. And then on the flip side is kind of the top-down approach where you use data science to analyze large complex data sets like bioinformatics or genomic information. And so those two kind of give you the two perspectives that you can kind of explore in the rest of the depth area. And then we have lots of electives where you can use mathematical models and equations to describe epidemics or responses to infectious diseases. You can also use more data science to think about how do we analyze large-scale images that are being generated by other depth areas in our department, or how do we interpret neurological signals that are coming from lots of different neurons in a very complex neural tissue. And so really any data that gets generated in the biological systems that we study here, you will learn tools and techniques and methods to analyze that data to help make sense of it so that we can better kind of control and understand these systems. For this depth area, we really want to give students a broad set of skills, and so kind of from the more nitty-gritty technical things, you will learn how to use computer code, how to build computer code to solve different problems. You will also learn how to use existing systems, things like ComSol, where there's a lot of infrastructure built already that you can kind of do your own thing with. So even though it's called the computational biomedicine area, I don't want you to feel like you need to know exactly how to code and know all of the coding languages and know how to solve all of the equations to be able to be successful in this area. So if you have an interest in how complex systems work, how cellular behavior translates to tissue level outcomes, or how healthcare decisions at your local clinic impacts patient health at the state level, if you're interested in any of those interactions, what this depth area will give you is it will teach you the skills and the methods to be able to make sense of and generate numbers and make decisions about all of these important things using the data that we have. We tell students that you can take these skills into any job where data is being used to make decisions. And so really there's a lot of opportunities in consulting where people will ask for students or companies with this computational expertise to make sense of large amounts of data, because everybody is getting more and more data. There's lots of students that go into the pharmaceutical industry because there's obviously a big expense in terms of drug development and optimization and finding good regimens, and so data science and computational modeling can be used to cut costs and timelines for that drug development. So the pharmaceutical industry is a big opportunity. Healthcare systems, kind of at the population level, there's a lot of optimization that has to happen there to understand how the system works and how do we schedule people that work in that system and how do we make it work for both the healthcare institution as well as the patients that are being served.
And these are our depth areas. Weldon School focuses on these areas, offering you the opportunity to build up experience in these specific fields in order to better prepare you for your desired career area. For the sake of being transparent, sophomore year can overwhelm students because of the high credit course load. If you're not ahead in math or you don't complete Physics 241 or CS 159 during first year engineering or over the summer before sophomore year, you would have 18 credits in the fall and 17 credits in the spring. This is made up of all STEM courses, and as I said before, it can be overwhelming for some, but the good news is each class of students do it every year, and so can you. Our sophomore year is based around fundamental core courses that must be taken the semester in which they appear due to prerequisite chains, and if they are not taken the semester they appear or before, it will postpone graduation. The other degree requirements, such as MA 261, 262, Physics, CS, etc., can be taken the semester in which they appear or before if you are able. The idea behind this is to establish a foundation so that you can build on it when you get to junior year and beyond. The labs during sophomore year are going to focus on building foundational knowledge and skills, such as those related to materials and mechanical, including testing of tension and compression, viscoelastic properties, three-point bending, and animal tissue and synthetics. You will also participate in animal dissection, body diagrams, joint forces, and more. You will also build skills in the bioelectrical areas, focusing on signal measurement and simulation, circuit design and prototyping, employing sensors, and more. Some general skills that you will develop are those related to standard curves, equipment calibration, experiment design, teamwork, scientific presentation and demonstration, writing technical notebooks and reports, literature reviews, statistics, and engineering ethics. So as you can see, there's a lot to learn and develop here. Moving on to junior year, you'll notice your credit loads are comparable to sophomore year with 18 credits in the fall and 16 in the spring. But let me draw your attention to a few things. In the fall, you'll finish up the last of your foundational work with the Biomaterials course and lab. You'll notice the courses that say BME 3XX, followed by primary and secondary. Those are your depth area courses, and you will get to choose which courses you want to take from a list of courses we offer. Whether it's engineered biomechanics and biomaterials, bioelectricity and instrumentation, bioimaging, or computational biomedicine, we will have a course offered each semester for you. Every student must take 2 courses in their primary depth area, one in the fall and one in the spring, and also 1 course as a secondary depth area. You will pick 2 depth areas from the 4 we offer and begin building a deeper knowledge of those areas. You'll also notice there is a technical engineering selective in the fall and then multiple selectives in the spring. Selectives can be taken any time before you graduate, but in our suggested plan of study, you can see how your semesters begin to lighten up. You start to have more choice over what you take, and instead of straight STEM courses, we get to explore other areas of study. We strongly encourage you to take selectives that dive deeper into your primary depth area, but you are the one responsible for your future, and you can take the courses you need to get there. In terms of lab skills you will develop during junior year, you will explore cellular science focusing on light microscopy, mammalian cell culture, cellular assays, and bacteria culture and assays. You will also focus on molecular areas of study, including DNA isolation and modification, protein production and isolation, antibody-based assays, and much more. Your computer skills will also grow through computational modeling, as well as coding knowledge with MATLAB, COMSOL, and CAD. You will learn more about microcontroller programming, image analysis, etc. You will gather a valuable understanding of experiment design, developing mathematical models to evaluate biological phenomena. You'll also design and perform benchtop experiments to validate engineering design solutions, perform statistical analysis of data, and practice project management and advanced teamwork. And finally, you will learn more about nerve conduction in animal models, microfluidics, tissue and material characterization, EMG-controlled prosthetics, cryopreservation, and more. And then there's senior year. This is where your semester begins to really lighten up with 16 credits in the fall semester and 15 in the spring. The only core BME courses you have to take senior year is BME 489, which is your senior design course, and your final professionalization course, BME 490. Everything else you need to complete are selective requirements you need for graduation. This gives you a great deal of freedom to choose what interests you most and what will get you where you want to be post-graduation. But the light credit load also offers you the opportunity to explore other areas of study on campus, whether it is doing research in a lab, conducting research in a student organization or campus project, or just taking fun courses that you've wanted to take like bowling or ceramics. Whatever you want to do, you will work with your primary academic advisor to make sure you are completing all requirements and are on track to graduate. But beyond that, the world is yours. In senior year, you will develop advanced skills that will set you up for your endeavors post-grad. Multidisciplinary teamwork, needs assessment and stakeholder interviews. You will liaison with company mentors, global engineering partners, or clinical mentors. You will learn market analysis, gap analysis, and solution ideation. How to engineer drawings and data visualization. You will practice design verification and learn validation methodologies. You will develop and implement testing protocols, iterative and rapid prototyping, and software and app design, to name a few. At the Weldon School, we are dedicated to helping you develop these skills and more so you can be successful wherever you go after your undergraduate studies.
Now that you know what your semesters with BME will look like, let's move on to the student perspective. First, to share their experience as a BME with the Weldon School, here is our very own Olivia Lesh.
Hi, my name is Olivia Lesh. I am a junior in the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering at Purdue. My story is kind of the classic case of the engineer where in high school you're told that you're good at math and science, you are good at math and science, and then you don't really know what to do with that going into college. I knew I didn't want to be a doctor, but I loved kind of the human body side of everything and the application of science and math to the human body. So it kind of a natural fit for biomedical engineering, which is when I started kind of looking at universities in general. I started working in the cardiovascular imaging research lab within the BME program my sophomore year. I really just kind of jumped in because I was looking for a way to apply a lot of my BME skills that I was learning in the classroom, and with COVID it was really hard to get internships and co-ops. So jumped into the laboratory and they immediately started teaching me how to use our photoacoustic system, which is a really complicated laser ultrasound machine. A little scary at first, but jumped in, got to learn a lot of skills that I never thought that I would. I was a participant in the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, and I was able to really just conduct 40 hours of research over the summer, and I really got to own my own project. I got to write a technical paper, which is still trying to be published, but I'm going to be published by the time I graduate. But it taught me a lot about research skills, research presentation skills, which honestly set me up for success in my co-ops and internships later down the road. I went to Denmark, Finland, and Sweden in May of 2022. There, when we were over there, we went to a bunch of different biomedical companies. We got to talk to all the professionals there that are doing research, that are doing kind of really cool academic work, but also industry work, so creating new devices and things like that. So it's an awesome networking opportunity. We also visited a bunch of universities, so I got to network with other students. There's a really cool student I actually got to talk to. She was a refugee from Syria actually, but she was going to a Swedish university, and got to learn all about her life and kind of why she chose biomedical engineering for almost opposite reasons that I chose, but it was such a cool cultural difference in the middle of Sweden. I think the biggest opportunity outside of BME that I was able to participate in would be Engineers Without Borders. It's a really awesome organization where we have an engineering project. Our project was in Bolivia when I was a part of Engineers Without Borders. I actually served as the vice president for a little while. We were building a water distribution system for rural residents in Kolkata. So I did a lot of work my freshman, sophomore, and beginning of my junior year in that organization. And then I also am a BME ambassador, which is so fun because I get to talk to high school and freshmen who are trying to decide what major they want to pursue, or if they even want to pursue Purdue Engineering. Just get to share my experiences. I think my biggest piece of advice that I would give to incoming students is just take advantage of all the opportunities. There are a lot of them, and the people want you to take advantage of them, and they will help you, so just do it.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Buffo. I'm a junior here at Purdue's Biomedical Engineering School. I am also on the pre-med pathway. During my time here as a BME, I have worked under Dr. Diva Chan, working with MRI and post-traumatic osteoarthritis, as well as worked as an EMT for the Purdue Fire Department, both during the school year and over the summer. I am also the president of Purdue Big Brothers Big Sisters, where we work to really engage our Purdue students with the Big Brothers Big Sisters in the West Lafayette and Lafayette communities and the elementary school age children that we serve there. I applied during my sophomore year to be a research assistant in the Chan lab, and I love Dr. Chan. She replied within 10 minutes to my email and was like, hey, I'd love to bring you on, come meet with me, let's talk about what you're interested in and see if you're gonna be a fit for our program. And so immediately during my second semester of my sophomore year, I was working as a research assistant under Dr. Chan. And so starting this as a sophomore, I really didn't even think I could get into that advanced of research. I worked directly with a PhD student. I really have enjoyed working with Dr. Chan and the graduate students in her lab because she's really expanded my opportunities within this school, and I get to do research under her that I never thought I would be able to do coming into undergraduate research. I always thought that was medical school or graduate school, but as an undergrad, I'm able to work on cutting edge research that's being presented actively at conferences. So I will be applying to medical school in this upcoming May, and the plans are to be a practicing physician and be a clinician that is also able to continue to utilize my biomedical engineering skills to apply that, whether I invent new products or whether I invent new practices for medicine. I want to be a doctor that continues to innovate and continues to question the status quo and work really to improve the patients' lives and how our care for the patients go. And so the goal is to be an orthopedic surgeon, pediatric orthopedics, and continue to utilize my biomedical engineering every day as I work to be a clinician.
And that was Nick Buffo, who shared some different experiences and his path toward being a clinician. You can find these videos and more on our website. Just search for Purdue BME and go to the undergraduate program site. And once there, look around to find all the videos we have to share, as well as more information for you about the Weldon School and the amazing things our faculty and students are doing. I want to move on to some extracurricular opportunities that students take advantage of while they study here in BME. And to do so, I will share one final video from a student who has done a lot beyond the classroom. Here is Allie Steele to share her experience.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm a student studying biomedical engineering with a focus in bioinstrumentation and bioimaging. My dad's an electrical engineer and my mom is a software engineer, so I grew up going to a bunch of engineering camps, all across Ohio in the Midwest. And then I really was also interested in medicine. So for a while I wanted to become a doctor and go to med school. And then for a while it was nursing. But then I realized I would be losing all of my background that I've had in engineering. So then I found biomedical engineering, where I got to keep the medicine and as well as the engineering aspect, and it was just meant to be. So my mom actually found Purdue. We toured here when I was a sophomore in high school, and I was really drawn initially to the GEAR program that Purdue has, the Global Engineering Alliance for Research and Education. So I was drawn to it because it would give me the opportunity to both work abroad and study abroad. As part of GEAR, next summer I'll be going as part of Depew Synthes over to work in Leeds, UK, in my same department. And then I will also be going the following fall to study abroad at the University of Galway in Ireland. I currently have a co-op with Depew Synthes in commercialized product development. So commercialized product development involves handling the whole portfolio of Depew Synthes knee and hip replacements. Over the course of 3 years, you get to participate in 3 different rotations throughout all of Johnson & Johnson. Through my co-op, I got exposure into biomechanics since I did knee and hip replacements. And through BME 207, I've gotten exposure with bioinstrumentation since that's our circuits class for sophomores. Based on the information I've learned, and I've recently picked up an interest in bioimaging, since that's also used with total knee and hip replacements. Going forward, I want to combine biomechanics with the electricity and the imaging aspects in order to help shape the future for joint replacements. I'm part of PPA, or Professional Practice Ambassadors. That's a club for co-op students. Because I'm on co-op, I'm always changing where I live every semester, and that can be kind of hard, moving away from my friends, and people graduate all the time. So the purpose of Professional Practice Ambassadors is to give co-op students a foundation, a family that they can return to every semester. And that's really helped me to form a community of engineers within Purdue. And it's really nice to know that every time I come back from a rotation, I'll have a family to come back to. Outside the classroom, I'm involved in boxing club, and I got started in that this semester. I got involved in that because I was looking for more of an outlet outside the classroom, something I could do to connect with other students outside of biomedical engineering. The biggest piece of advice I'd have for anyone who's looking at biomedical engineering is you never know all the possibilities out there with this major. Biomedical engineering is fantastic because you get a little bit of everything. We are essentially every engineering major and how it can be applied to the body. Give it a shot. You never know what you'll find within it because biomedical engineering is so much more than you think.
If you're interested in getting some work experience before you graduate, consider a co-op or internship. Internships are generally considered a one-time experience and often take place over the summer, but not exclusively. Co-ops, on the other hand, are work experiences that happen across 3 to 5 rotations, and in BME we generally see 3. These rotations are different semesters you'd be working for a given company, and you will gain at least a year's worth of real-world experience before graduation. And as we hear more and more from company reps, co-op experience is something that they look for in candidates for jobs in the future, because the co-op gives a student more long-term experience, which is much closer to what we see in the real job. This appears to be the direction the industry is going. So if you look at this map of the United States and Indiana, in surrounding states, we work with many companies, and these are but a few. The ones that are highlighted in gold are companies who have agreed to take our students every semester for co-ops. But we work with companies all over the country, helping our students gain real-world experience before graduation. And it is important to mention that taking a co-op will postpone graduation, but the best part is you can gain 1 year's worth of experience and possibly, depending on your academics, only add 1 semester. You'd work with your primary academic advisor to confirm how long you would need to graduate. Although co-ops and internships are an important opportunity to consider, BME also has highlighted study abroad programs that our students take advantage of. We have our long-term programs, which are semester long, and they take place in Sydney, Australia, Copenhagen, Denmark, Quito, Ecuador, Galway, Ireland, Madrid, Spain, and Zurich, Switzerland. Additionally, we have some short-term study abroad opportunities that take place over spring break or during a Maymester. These opportunities include France, Ireland, Japan, Korea, and Scandinavia. On average, 25% of BME students are engaged in research for credit, and 10% are off campus on co-op or internship every semester. And by graduation, over 95% of our students in the Weldon School have gained valuable experience through industry, research in faculty labs, and around campus with programs like SURF, for example. And they have worked on project teams through EPICS or VIP and study abroad, and even gained clinical exposure working with IU Methodist Hospital and shadowing doctors in order to better understand the clinical side of healthcare and learn more about how BME affects the real world. And many students have been fortunate enough to watch open heart surgeries and other comparable surgical experiences. You may be thinking, these experiences sound great, but how does it benefit your future career? How does all of this experience help you get the job? Well, here at the Weldon School, we have an excellent postgrad placement rate. And to begin, I'd like to start by discussing where our students go after graduation before focusing on industry and discussing job titles and average salaries. From a self-reported survey that we did in 22-23 academic year, 38% of our students went directly into industry after graduation. And these are some of the companies that have hired our students, and we work closely with companies like Boston Scientific, Cook Biotech, Cook Research, Zimmer Biomet, and DePuy Synthes, to name a few. And I want to draw your attention to some of the other companies, though. Kimberly-Clark makes products that come in contact with the human body, such as various wipes and feminine products, etc. And if it comes in contact with the human body, odds are there's a BME there. Eli Lilly and Pharmaceuticals, Cook Biotech and Biomaterials, Abbott and Medical Devices. Even Fiat Chrysler, where they hire BMEs to work on crash test development and biosensors in vehicles, or Apple, where we've had students work on biosensors in the Apple Watches. Even NASA worked with us for human life support technology. A total of 36% of our graduates go on to continue their education. 19% of them go on to graduate and PhD programs, while 17% of our students continue through our 4+1 fifth-year master's program, which allows students to acquire their master's degree in only one additional year. Students on this track can count up to 12 credits toward their graduate degree during their senior year, and then after graduating with their bachelor's degree can become a full-time graduate student for the remainder of their graduate studies. 17% is more than double from the previous year, and we imagine that number will continue to grow rapidly. Additionally, the vast majority of our fifth-year master's students go on to industry. This also includes many of our two-year master's students as well. The 4% represents our pre-professional students who plan to go on to med school, dental school, veterinary school, etc. It also represents the small sect of graduates that go on to law school and often study patent law and the like. And then 7% of students fall into the other category. This could be for a variety of reasons, including students wanting to take a gap year before they dive into industry. Some students want to join the Peace Corps. Some even want to travel to other countries and teach English for a year. There are many reasons people fall into the other category. And finally, the unknown category. Those are just the students that did not respond to our survey. Now, a common misunderstanding about BME jobs is that you need to find a job searching for the title Biomedical Engineer. And by searching this, like I'm sure many of you have, you will find very little to no opportunities. But I assure you, BME is one of, if not the fastest growing engineering discipline, largely due to how young it is and how much room it has to grow. Our students have been hired for roles such as quality engineer, validation engineer, product development engineer, solutions engineering analyst, technical solutions engineer, consulting analyst, research engineer, design engineer, manufacturing engineer, and sometimes just simply engineer. And our students make an average of approximately $77,000 a year to start, and some as high as $98,000. And this is pretty good for an entry-level position. So BME is full of opportunity, both during and after your time at the Weldon School. Thank you for your interest in BME. I hope this video has been informative, but if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. There are a few options to gather more information about the Weldon School. The first being to check out our website, engineering.purdue.edu/BME. Make sure you go to our undergraduate program. And second, we have daily tours, Monday through Friday, starting at 1:30 in the Martin Jiske building, room 1021. Please come and see our building and take advantage of the student tour guides who can share valuable information about the experiences they've had in the labs they'll show you. And finally, you can also make appointments with our advising team, like me. Feel free to go through Boiler Connect, and as you schedule your appointment, make sure that for the purpose section, it says T2M or Engineering Professional School Inquiry. If you do not put one of those options, we will not pop up. And also make sure you choose Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering as the location. It's the only way to find us. And that's it. I hope this has been informative for you. And for now, good luck. And if you want to be in BME, we hope to see you in the Weldon School of Biomedical Engineering soon. Take care.